Seconds. Oh yeah, it says it's preparing the live stream, setting up my meeting with YouTube. See how this goes. Soon, soon. All right, I think we're live. Let's see, let's see. All right, look at that. We are live. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to share the link over in the other. Today we've had some technical difficulties, so of course it didn't want to go live where I had it all set up. It's going live here instead. And Etienne's just setting things up right now. People are just coming in. I was in the room with a gentleman by the name of Michael, and I just started talking, and he was like, "Hello," and he just started talking, and he said he was an old friend of Dave's of Skunkman Sam. So welcome, Michael. Welcome to the Puff Wednesday Skunkman Sam tribute session here on Bubble Man's World. How are things with you, Michael?
Great. I'm in Zihuatanejo, Mexico on vacation right now, and it's like 85 degrees and beautiful. But I missed today's whatever happened today. I would love to hear about what took place.
Well, we did actually record the whole thing, so I can send you the link and you can watch that on your own time.
Nice.
It's the whole family. It's Haley and Maya and friends talking about Dave and up on the podium. There's a really beautiful slideshow of just like incredible photos of his life. And how you were just telling me briefly, how did you meet Dave again? Or
Uh,
when was
back
that?
in the 70s, we lived in Sonoma County, and we'd have 4 times a year the Luther Burbank Garden Club, which was a bunch of growers that would get together, and then we would have our own cannabis cup. It was before the Emerald Cup, way before it, and and Dave would always come up from Santa Cruz and win it every year. We all never knew what his strain was. It must have been Skunk One, obviously, but he uh, he always had the most beautiful strain, even back in the 70s. And and then about 2 years ago, he contacted me, sent me a letter from Amsterdam asking me about an early girl strain that I created back then, where I was starting just a shitload of plants and picking the earliest male and female and crossing them together every year. And we had an end of August strain. And he was just curious about it. And we communicated back and forth a few times. And I hadn't seen him in 20 years. So I don't even know everything that's taken place in his life, other than he was with Rob Clark working for a long time, and I met Rob in Jamaica. We were on a vacation, and he was down there collecting hash samples from all these little friends that he had all over Jamaica, and we had all this Northern County Mendocino weed that we'd brought to Jamaica, and so we were making hash oil and rolling Mendo joints and having the Rastafarians coughing their lungs out off our Mendo weed.
That's
But
awesome. Very cool.
yeah, yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, that's yeah, what a small world, hey? Yeah, I'm sure Sam's done a lot since you've known him, but still that's a
Yeah,
pretty cool
I'm.
time to know him during those old original cups, man. Like that is cool.
Yeah, and you said you ran into Dan Shook. That's how I met him, through Dan, and we've been friends for 30 years.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're just waiting for Etienne to set up. We'll probably host this whole thing here, probably for the next 3 or 4 hours. It's going to be pretty loose. I'm not gonna, keep talking the entire time, but there should be some good stories. A bunch of different people will probably pop in over the course of the evening, and at one point we'll probably hear from some folks that are actually at the event as well.
Nice. Yeah, I would love to get that link and check it out.
Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Can do that, no problem. And thank you for not walking with your phone anymore. That is the best. I don't know why, but I just Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
I just, sorry, that's my, I brought my tripod, so. Whoops.
Oh, nice.
All
Oh, you're double. Oh, mutant. Etienne the muter.
right, can you hear me?
Yes, you were a little
All
bit
right,
like wah 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 wah.
is that better? There we go. Yeah, it must be carrying my mic over here. So, yeah, right now where people are just starting to roll in, and we were greeted with great weather earlier today. Let me move this from over by the mic.
Here we go.
There we go. So
And
the weather was amazing. We were so excited to see Diana and the kids, and they were absolutely happy. We made sure everything was taken care of for them. We'd like to thank the other spot for taking care of everybody. We had ample food, and of course, there was wine, cider, beer for those, and everybody was able to medicate outside. So this event is strictly for the indoor smoking. Well, I would anticipate Diane and them to pop by, but I don't think they're going to stay long. So we appreciate everybody showing up. I will do my best to bounce around the room and get a feel for people as they arrive. But Marcus, thank you very much. You would have been very touched by the photo collage that was done by Diana. There were multiple pictures of you and your family, and the love was there. So it was wonderful to see everybody who came out. A lot of the old school cannabis people from the Bay Area showed out, and couldn't have been happier.
awesome, man. Yeah, I saw those photos. That was amazing. I was like, are those my kids in those photos? I was like, oh shit, those are my kids in those photos. Pretty cool. Cool to
There were
see
children there too. It was a celebration of life, and the view was amazing.
you got the robotic voice kind of coming on right now. You got a little bit of a Darth Vader thing going on. He was my father.
Sorry, it's my headset. But yeah,
I feel
great
like
to see
dabs must be
everybody.
smoked.
Ryan really pulled through, crushed it.
Of
Um,
course.
Donna did an excellent job with the flowers and the photos. We had photos on the table, both sides. So I got people coming over to everybody's table and engaging with each other. And yeah, it was just really absolutely beautiful. So they were running late till 6 there. Look at that. I got cotton mouth just looking at that.
Hashtag not rosin. Hashtag not rosin.
All right, more people are rolling in.
Well, we're gonna puff some bowls here and tell some stories and yeah, hit that full mount. Look, it's holding the whole dabber up right now. Ooh, that's the good stuff right there. I call that their poster hash. I would say a piece about that big, I could put up a very large poster and it would stay up for years. Instead, I'm gonna dab it. Dab it. Oh, what do we got? Chris Lupo just came into the room. I'm not sure what your name is, homie. Healing and flow to the legacies. Motorola Edge. What's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah, dude, I was on a phone the other day on Zoom and it took me like a minute and a half to find the mute button. I realized the face that everyone has when they try to find the mute button. Actually, I can push a button that says ask to unmute you, and then it'll pop a button up on your screen that'll make it easy to find. Then you can unmute yourself. See if that works. Let's see if, oh, Ezekiel. Welcome, Ezekiel. Welcome.
Blessings and flow to you guys. Honor and respect. Blessings and love and healing to the Watson family. Thank you.
Oh, man. Thank you. Appreciate the love.
Yo, please check the window.
Yeah. Well, to have a dab, I think it's probably appropriate to smoke a fat dab for the skunk man.
I want to thank everybody who made donations on behalf of the family. It meant a lot. We were able to cover all expenses. So thank you, everybody.
This is gonna be good. Ah, upon the exhalation of my bubble, the dragonfly earth medicine pop right in. They're like, I think Bubble Man's exhaling a bong rip right now. We should go check him out and see what he's doing. But wham! What's up?
Sending love to the family, just getting ready to getting a hit together. Nice to see you all. Much love. Much
all
love.
the love. Love to see you, ATN. Love to see everybody there in this beautiful, amazing, magical event.
Love
So
you, Sam.
meaningful.
Skunkman Sam will forever be in our hearts. And it was so spectacular seeing those photos today.
Yeah.
Feeling the vibration of everything that was happening there.
I mean,
Dude,
those,
how about the like 40-minute wait before it actually worked? I was like, Sam is completely still fucking with all of us.
I like
it's
that.
so good.
I like that.
Ah, it
Yeah.
was so good, is right. Yes.
Well, we got our
Reem?
storm too here today.
Yeah, did you?
Pretty nice.
Yeah, we got a lot of snow here. It didn't storm today, but it did 2 days ago, and it's like a couple feet of snow everywhere except on my driveway. So it kind of is just beautiful. Once you get it off the driveway, you're like, snow is beautiful. When it's on the driveway, you're kind of like, this is stressing me out a little bit.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Char went out with her friend to the Sunshine Coast on the day that everything got shut down. She went like it's far, like in Madeira Park, like it's like way up there. And they got to the cabin and the power was out, the water was frozen, and so for the
Oh
last
boy.
day and a half, her and her friend have been like all bundled up next to the fireplace. They're like important mom vacation for 2 or 3 days, right? So
Not
apparently,
gonna
when I was on the phone with her earlier, though, the power came on. I heard them both celebrating. It was a beautiful thing. They were very happy. The power! It's the power!
a lot of electricity going out these days.
I
It
love
seems
it.
like, ooh, it's cold.
I just
I
don't.
was impressed. I was impressed with them. I will say they were like, we're doing this. This is our adventure. We're going. No one's gonna stop us. And yeah, here, check it out. This is where they are right now.
Oh yeah. That is nestled
This little
beautifully in
cabin.
the woods. I like the upper deck up there on that second floor. That's sweet.
Oh, I lost sound.
Hello.
There we go. I got you again.
Well, much love there, Mr. John Burfalo and Motorola Edge.
That's Ezekiel.
Nice
Aw,
to see you, brother.
nice to see you, Ezekiel.
I hope your farm. I'm so glad that you guys survived the season of that fire.
Yeah, we truly only survived that fire because of everybody's prayers.
I was praying for you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, when the fire was bearing down on us and it looked like we were going to be swallowed up in 15 minutes, I could just hear the prayers of everyone coming down in the ashes and
I was gonna come out too. Sorry to.
Wow. No, it's good.
That's cool.
All of the prayers really, it's so powerful. We really forget that as a modus operandi of movement and getting things done and just that power of prayer and large groups of people. I'm a big believer.
I love you guys. I love all of you.
We love you too. Yeah,
To you guys.
really, really love you.
It's a good day to express love to, the people that are around you that really kind of inspire you and keep you going and are there for you when you need them.
Hmm.
Both as we can give love, and that's what we always do. Like you guys do, you're always giving love. We can give love to everybody, and that's what we do from our hearts, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And the love was felt today for the community and everybody today. So, as you said, this is the time to tell somebody you love them.
Etienne, you are the wizard behind the curtain right now. Your voice is like booming, echoing. It's like wah 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 wah. It was awesome, dude. That was powerful. And even your message was also well received. Oh, here comes Wade. Wade laughter. Bong rip.
Yeah, they're gonna be going all night.
Oh my goodness, dude. I still have to work out for an hour tonight. Oi, oi, oi. Put my son to bed, make him dinner, do a whole bunch of adult responsibilities.
I'm on the 330 crunches, and 240 push-ups a day for the next 90 days. Actually, been doing it for like the last since January 1st. So it's like that new push. Can you imagine? 5 years ago, I started with 2 push-ups.
That's how it starts, man. It literally starts that way. 5 years ago, my son was doing chin-ups on the tree in front of my house with some rocks in a backpack. And now that tree is no longer there. And he does pull-ups and chin-ups with like, I don't know, 150 pounds hanging between his legs, plus the 250 pounds that he weighs. It's consistency is the key. That's what I've watched my son do. Just consistently, just be like, I'm just going to do this for like, the next couple of years. Plus he's young, so there's this like burst. His consistency is quite visible, more so than say than mine is at 51. But still pretty cool to see it. It's good for you, Johnny, to be consistent and just keep doing it. Couple push-ups turns into a couple more, turns into I mean, look at David Goggins. That guy did like pull-ups for like 17 hours or something. Like
Doing that.
that dude is a psychopath. But he's also like he can show you that like, like we can focus our psychopathy in any direction. And so like focus it into good. Like just do some good crazy shit. That's why we're celebrating Sam today, because he was just like the top of good crazy shit of this community. Who turns into a couple more, turns into
Michael Bloom, will you mute your microphone, please?
Oh, that's what it is. Look at you.
Wait.
That's good on you, dude. Thank you, Wade. I was wondering why I could hear myself speaking. I was going through my whole computer, looking at all the things that are open, going, is that on my computer?
On the side.
Johnny B.
Welcome, Wayne.
Just
I started moving into doing the Navy SEAL burpees. Where you go down and you do the push-ups and you come up and you go down, then you can kind of do some like things in the center, some kicks and stuff. And I just feel like it like worked my core in a way that I never really got out of just doing the push-ups and stuff. And now there's like all this motion involved and everything, and just kind of like, wow, this is a little step up from everything. And it's just body stuff. So it's awesome.
The body stuff, like really, I don't lift weights at all. You just did the same thing, Josh. You're saying like you just stepped it up, and that's all you need to do. It's just about movement.
I will say weight resistant training is really good though. I just lift weights, but like not a lot. I'm not like an impressive, like I don't have any impressive numbers by any means, but I do, bench pressing and squats and Romanian deadlifts and all these different things. And it's definitely good for like just building strength and core. When I go snowboarding after like 6 months of like all summer long, just doing that workout 3 or 4 days a week, it's insane how much stronger my stance is and how like strong I am just standing up, switch forward, whatever it is. It's powerful.
Allows you to take a fall as well, you know, and not get too, you know,
Yep.
jerked around or whatever and stuff. So I like that, you know, I like being able to fall, you know, if it comes down and stuff and get back. But
Working out and keeping fit. And everybody here who's younger, no matter what age you are, is what you should do. Movement's how you heal. And good hash.
Good hash is a good thing. Thank goodness. I'm going to be smoking hash more again here soon. Real hash, 6-star, the Bubs.
I mean, how amazing was that to be delivered 6-star in the middle of a, you know, hi, yeah,
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
whisper in my ear. You can talk in my ear.
You're talking to your ear. Next to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Technology, I love it.
I can hear you. Hello. Nice to see you.
So do you have a Skunkman story?
Oh, we have countless Skunkman stories. A funny Skunkman story that I have is we were in Jamaica and we had rented a big house and he wanted to get like Cokes. He always wants like to drink Cokes, but we were in Jamaica and he was like, I would also do Ting, which is the Jamaican drink, the kind of lemonade pop or whatever. And so we go to the store, and as we're walking into the store, this giant truck pulls up, and it's like the delivery truck. And I go into the store, but he's not following me. And I'm kind of like, where did Dave go? And so I turn around and I walk outside, and he's buying cases of Ting from the guy who's driving the truck out in front of the store. And I was just like, dude, that is like the Jamaican guy that owned the store was just watching it happen. It was so just ridiculous and Dave in all ways. And we enjoyed those tings. Let me tell you, 48 of them I think we brought back to my to our fridge. 48 tings. And we crushed every one of them. So there's a Skunkman Sam story for you. And yes, of course, the whole time we were smoking very strong hash that melted and bubbled and put smiles in our souls. Has anyone said that before? Put smiles in our souls. If not, I coined that shit tonight.
Yeah, Dave moved on to extracts all before the rest of us. Maybe not you.
Yes, even me, absolutely. He definitely Dave was ahead of the game for everyone. That's just how it was. That's he helped us move the game ahead so far, just with his being so far ahead of his time. And also, like Ryan said, figuring out how to get all the no's to say yes, because that was one of the hardest things to do in cannabis was to get the no's to say yes. And Dave's team at least were the masters of that. They seemed to be able to figure out how to do that in a way that not many of the rest of us did at the time, that's for sure.
Well, the rest of us would take that whole carton of tea from the truck right in front of the store.
So good. So good. Yes, I made water hash with Skunkman Sam in Jamaica as well. That was a blast. Making some beautiful, beautiful full melt bubble from my buddy, the Doctor. Actually, we called him Geronimo because he would drive down the grill so fast. He was this cab driver guy. Very long dreads. His dreads were like maybe like 10 or 11 feet long. He had the Indian blood, right? The Indian Jamaicans, the coolies, as they call them in Jamaica. They have the longest dreads. These guys have the longest dreads. And so Geronimo, that's what they'd say as he's like speeding down the little Negril road, going like way faster than probably is safe for anyone. But somehow he didn't get shamed into stop doing that. Instead, he grew killer weed at the top of the mountain. And I went and bought some kilos off of them of the blueberry. I remember it so fondly. And I went back home and whipped up a batch of water hash with Skunkman Sam. And really, it was one of the first times I saw him smoke something that I had made. Prior to that, he was very much just smoked his own because it was better by miles than anyone's anything. So I got it. I understood it, but I still wanted to be able to make something for him and be like, look at this. Like, this is special. Which is, yeah, it's a funny thing when you want that so badly. I always tell people that are trying to do that for me now, like, it has to be real. Like I can only be excited if you actually produce something that is spectacular and real. And that's a sometimes tough pill to swallow when you can't figure it out.
You know,
What's that?
I feel that way about books. Every time Ed and I release a new book, it's
Yeah,
the
of course.
creation and the gift of information. So very
Well,
happy.
you guys have put a lot of it out there, Jane. A lot.
So very happy to be his publisher.
Awesome. Oh, we're happy to have you.
Dragonfly is medicine, weight, laughter. There's also Sandra, so there's Johnny being up in Canada. And we have Chris Lupo, Motorola Edge, Copper Dapper. I'm not sure if your name Motorola Edge, so all apologies. This is Ellen Comp. Ellen Comp is with California and Millable. Yeah, you're on camera.
And Ellen Comp, wait a minute. Ellen Comp is part of the reason that we have lounges. Go Ellen.
Nice. That's awesome.
Let my people have a cup of coffee while they smoke. Yeah. So am I live?
Yes.
I'm honored to be here. I only got to meet Dave once in Frankfurt, actually, in like '95 at a conference. But I was very aware of his work in hemp because I started in the hemp movement, and the International Hemp Journal was like the Bible. And so I'm really loving hearing about all the different strains involved. I was just in Jamaica and wondering why they don't have stronger ganja. No wonder they smoke those huge leaves. But and they would also be. I have the good stuff. I have the California. Like I'm in Jamaica. So fascinating world, and it's so sad to have lost Dave. I guess that's suddenly in California, and so I'm very pleased that everyone put this together so quickly to honor him. And thank you for having me here.
That was super psychedelic and trippy and awesome. I really quite enjoyed it. At first, like the anal retentive in me was kind of like, oh my God, we got to fix the audio. Like, this is unacceptable. But then I was like, this is amazing, actually. Like, she fucking, that whole speech and the way it sounded, I just thought, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Thank you, Etienne, honestly. And I'm not even being sarcastic. That was awesome. The whole vibrato like sound effect. At one point, it sounded like she was in this like metal womb, and it was just like bah, 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 bah. It was cool. She was time traveling. That's fucking awesome. She was time traveling. Someone said that in the chat. I think that was Gerthakian. Dr. Mark, I think, just popped into the old room here. I can't tell. I could be wrong. I feel like there's a few people we can't see. It says Chris Lupo's in the room, but I haven't heard him talk yet.
Hey, Marcus.
How you
All
doing,
right.
Dr. Mark?
All right. All right. I got to tune in earlier to listen to the ceremony, so it was really moving.
Okay,
Yeah, I
excellent.
heard Haley and Maya, and I heard Ryan and Todd, and yeah, it was Todd almost brought me to tears. Really.
Yeah.
It was really, really moving, and yeah, it must have been incredible to be in the room. I was texting with Ryan too. We were texting back and forth. So yeah, thanks.
Yes. That was good. It was nice to see all the photos and nice to hear the stories, nice to
Yeah.
hear from his daughters, and it was just really all in all quite lovely. And now
And
we got
we
a
had
session. So
our usual
every
suspects in the chat. So everybody who was in the chat was there. I see everybody's there now. So
yeah, there was like 300 people at one point in time tuned in. I think we got about 200 right now for the session. The Puff Wednesday. This is a Puff Wednesday extended edition, live Puff Wednesday with the cool kids, and just celebrating the life of an amazing man. Skunkman Sam, Dave Watson, on
yeah. Hey,
wild.
Marcus, who is that guy who got up? I think he was like a bald guy with glasses
Dan
and was,
Shook.
is that who that was? So who is that exactly?
Well, Dan Shook, funny enough, because the first person to come into the chat room today, the only reason I remember that name is because he got up on the mic and he said, "Well, my real name is Dan Shook." And I just thought that was a hilarious way to open up like a talk. Like it was just a classic, like, oh, here's another, maniac that's Dave's pulled out of the ethers. And so that was kind of funny. So fast forward when I open this chat, there's a guy in here named Michael Bloom. And he's not talking. It's just me and Etienne, this Michael Bloom guy. And then Etienne and I start talking. And he's like, "Oh, hello." And I'm like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Michael Bloom. I'm in Zihuatanejo on vacation right now." I'm like, "Okay, well, how do you know Dave?" And he's like, "I knew Dave from the 70s, man. We would have these, like, we were part of the Luther Burbank Gardening Club, and we would throw these cups, and Dave would come down to Sonoma from Santa Cruz, and he would win all these cups." And so he's just a real kind of trippy dude. Like he was kind of awesome. He sounded a little bit like Chong, and he hadn't really known Dave for the last 20 or so years, but he had known him prior to that. And he told us, this is how the story leads back to Dan Shook, in case you're wondering, ADHD. Um, he said that he was introduced to Skunkman Sam by this guy, Dan Shook. And so that is all I know about Dan Shook. I just wanted to sort of tie it together with a lovely story. And I hope you enjoyed it. I know Kelly did because she's smiling and radiating.
We love you, man. That's all.
Dan Shook is an originator.
All right,
Real.
does my sound better?
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a way to make the sound better. I think it's going to be like that and we should embrace it. I honestly just don't think. And also very smart with like leaning your ear into the people talking because otherwise we can't hear them. So that was good. We heard that girl and that was super good. We heard Jane. We heard them both. It was wonderful. So thank you, Etienne. And let's just not take life too seriously. And I would really like to see people inhaling cannabinoids and aromatic volatile compounds.
I'm so
Please.
high over here. I keep doing I was at the bab, and then I had two gummy bears, and now I'm like in pizza. So it's
Oh, look at you go, man. Look at you go.
well,
Yeah,
Ryan,
that was
he's like, he goes, you go through way too many dabs. He goes, so do this. They call mini dabs. It's like a mini dab on there. Fuck, I don't know. This is an adult show, so I can swear. It is just the best way of really medicating. The whole thing is when you're smoking solventless hash with a butane torch, it becomes non-solventless. So that's just the downside.
Okay, trying again.
Oh,
Sounds good.
Sounded better?
Yeah.
it did actually. I am going to go do family duties. I have my youngest creeping up on me right here. And I've also got to go help my eldest with her auditions. So I'm gonna sort of hand it over to Colin and the Dragonfly Earth Medicine. They're gonna be co-hosts. And I'll be back soon, but I would just assume that the most important thing you guys all do on Sam's behalf is puff. Have many puffs. I'll be back.
Break it out. Big love, man. Have a good night.
We got you covered on
Good,
that
good
one.
to be here, everybody. How you guys doing? Under
Hey, Colin, what's up, buddy?
not much. Just got some good hash here. I pulled it out earlier out of the freezer, and it's just starting to kind of melt into itself here. Getting ready for a snowstorm out here on the East Coast.
Yes, are you in New York?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we're gonna get socked right in the next day or two.
yeah, tomorrow we should start feeling it in the morning. But
You all prepared for that?
oh yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
one.
It's a
got
good
the
time to
firewood
make
ready.
hash.
It is. It's a good time for dry sift, man. Right now, like it's 17 degrees out. It's like
And low
perfect.
humidity. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, no humidity at all. It's dry as a bone. So really good time. It's good for hash too. This is used to be historically when I was younger. This was the time. It's time to get it in. Wash as hard as you could.
I'm
Paddle
on
hard.
curing the hash on the stick like a couple years. I'm 3 years on curing my weed in the garage to make hash for 2025.
Cheers to that, man. Well, I'm gonna puff one for Sam.
Let's puff.
Well, that's all.
Oh, I can't open nothing. They're all like just came out of the fridge, so I gotta let them warm up, and when they pop, I can smoke.
So once you pop, you can't.
Yeah, they gotta go pop. You know the deal.
Got some sour diesel, banana OG going here.
Hmm.
Terps from 2013. That jar used to be. Yeah, we didn't have this.
This is Romulan right here.
Yeah.
It's really good.
We were smoking some of that out of my box there. Just stuff I haven't smoked in like 15 years. It feels like some of the stuff in there. And it good, man. It's nice to have that.
I was telling Marcus earlier, I went to go get my hash out of the freezer, and it was like a game of what jar could I actually open because I tend to like squeeze shut my jar so hard. And I was like, ah, it's like 4 jars later, if one finally popped open.
You love that preservation.
I just always, yeah, I'm always, at least I'm trying, it's those, the seals only do so much. And it's interesting. I think about when it gets cold, like how is that seal actually working when it gets that cold in a freezer, you know?
Well, the
So,
shit's really sticky to begin with, right? So you're
yeah, I mean, it looks
like
beautiful.
trying to freeze glue.
Well, I've been experimenting though with keeping hash in a freezer. Like I've been keeping like 15, 14 grams of each batch over the years and try to keep it and see how it preserves itself over time
In a
under the
glass
right
jar?
conditions. In a glass jar, in a that I seal. Um, I mean, I've had stuff, certain varietals, seems like things with de-lemoning preserve longer, like higher COAs with higher amounts of that.
What's the seal on the cap? Is it just like a laminated piece of plastic or?
It's actually like this steel. This is what I use. I use these here in for ball jars,
Right.
and it's a solid top. That's what I like.
So here's a little cool tech. I actually put my hash in the jar and I put the parchment inside of it. And this has been dry sifting here for like over like it feels like a decade. I won't open it out because it's still too cold. And that's how I kept it.
Yeah, but there's so much little things to think about when we think about how to preserve something, and it's a big conversation. But I think about how we perhaps might be doing it wrong. Like these are okay. This is like, I when I was younger, I thought, well, this is how we historically have preserved food, so why not, other things, right? Other
What's the
organic.
material made out of? Is there a coating on there?
Yeah, there's a coating in here. I buy these in bulk for the lab. We only use it for preservation. We'll never heat these things up. Like I would never put this in an oven. I don't recommend ball jars for doing jar tech or any of these types
What's
of
that
things.
seal made out of, you think?
I'm not quite sure. I'm sure I could find out.
Yeah.
Um, it's no different than like a ball jar seal. It's like some sort of rubber, you know, but we
I've
don't.
heard I've heard discussions about that potentially being a source of contamination as far as
Hmm.
BPE. Is that what you would
Hmm.
mark?
Yeah,
That
it's a plasticizer that you don't want to leach, right?
so there's
Yeah,
And
talk about maybe
especially
putting
if you have stuff that's more like terp sauce, you don't want terp sauce coming in contact with all those rubbers because it'll just leach stuff out.
so you could
yeah,
Yeah, then there's that, I mean,
right.
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of these types of jars. That's why we just use them for like flour and just hash. Like if we're freezing hash,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
use that first. This one here, but we don't use ball jars at all. We use a totally different type of jar.
So
Um,
I'm gonna love this. You guys mind if I share something with you? Because we talked
yeah.
about your hash. So of course I have this GTP that it says Skunkman Sam above mountain right away, which I love. It says the cold storage is best for long-term preservation. For hash that you plan to store for months or years, keep it in a cold, dark environment. Ideal -4, 30 degrees Celsius to -20. Best for bubble hash, dry, sift, and full mouth hash that needs to be stay fresh for years. Method: vacuum sealed, place in an airtight, moisture-proof glass, silicone container, double wrap it. My hash is ready to smoke. You heard the jar pop. And then it goes into risk refrigeration, 32 to 40 degrees, 0 to 4 degrees. Best for short-term storage for a few months. Methods is airtight containers, preferably. I'm not going to say it. Preferably, food glass storage containers, silicone based, room temperature storage. So it gets into it. So then gets into
Gotta
preservation.
use silicone though is not right. And they're doing, what's interesting about Chet that prompt is that it's doing a great job of regurgitating things we've all written,
Oh yeah.
somewhere, right? And but there's so much more there, I think. Um, because we've learned that silicone is actually leaches terpenes from
Oh
material,
yeah.
right? It just
Yeah.
absorbs it,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And
And
you know,
Colin, do you remember the guy that we had on a couple episodes ago for solvent, Jari, the diamond mine?
yeah, I know him. I missed that one. I was supposed to be there, but I had some
Oh,
family
you were
stuff.
dealing with
Yeah,
your, yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
But I was actually really excited for that episode because I think
Yeah.
worlds have
Well,
been so closely connected just because jar tech is so based on pounds per square inch and how that works over time and how we make secondary processing and solvent less. And we borrow from a lot of these concepts that are in solvent-based work. So,
the reason why I brought him up is 'cause he reached out and wanted to know if I had known about this phenomena, and I'd reached out to a couple testing labs and asked them about it. And the phenomena was, does bag blowout in rosin create microplastic contaminant in the rosin? And so I think there's like a Reddit discussion on this, and there's some people who believe that again, there's I mean, man, the more you read about microplastics, the more you realize how ubiquitous they are in our environment today, and they're
yeah.
just about in everything. You
Hmm.
can't almost avoid them. Any agriculture or a lot of just places you wouldn't expect to find microplastics, you find microplastics. So, had you heard about this, especially with bag blowout, I guess? Because when bags rupture, I guess they can release small little fibrils or other things, or so the microplastic phenomenon. Do we have a new fucking contaminant on our radar or what?
Yeah, that's always, when you heat things up, and again, like
Yeah,
we're
shit happens.
adopting, yeah, you're You know better than I, this is your field, but I, as someone who's been around the act of doing billions of bags, right, and seeing a lot, um, we tend to use stainless steel a lot. Um, and that's our preferred method of wrapping bags. Because it gives it a real nice, snug feel around a protective layer, and you don't have to use at that point, you don't even have to use a traditional bag that is like a sleeve, if you really want to do it that way. There are screen subsets out there that are, you can buy. I mean,
I wonder even like with hash screens themselves, like I'm not talking about bubble mans, but poorly made hash screens could have microplastic, you know, just flaking off the edge of fiber that's not properly made or whatever. I don't know. I'm just
hmm
kind of making this up, but I think, again, this whole microplastic issue about it's in our foods, it's in our brain, it's everywhere. It's like, holy shit. Where is it
Yeah.
in cannabis? Is it in cannabis? Labs, I didn't find a lab that tests for it. There's labs that do, some type of macroscopic, like they'll look at the bud and they'll show you a picture and they'll look for contaminant like human hair or, other weed or something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
It typically
certain sort
happens.
of qualitative assessments that labs will do, but do
Sure.
labs specifically test for microplastic contaminant in rosin? I don't think so.
No. Um,
Well,
they
there's
don't.
another damn
Not in
thing
our
to think
experience.
about.
We've never seen. We've actually, it's funny, when we turn on new labs, we microscope the fur all the every watt. We mean we do this anyway. We microscope everything, but we see a lot of contaminants when we first turn on labs because of the equipment and residuals. We see like black fibers in RO a lot. That's one thing, and that people
Right.
should look out for is like just shards of just like plastics and things that come from the piping and
Yeah. Hey,
uh, you
speaking
know.
of RO, did you see that SC Labs found benzthiazole from hoses that are used in water hash? So there's
Yes,
a, yeah, Josh Worzer just published a little thing on LinkedIn on it. And
we've
so
heard of that.
basically it's a fungicide that's found just in, I guess, rubber hoses or stuff like that, but it
Yep.
leaches from the water into the hash too, which is pretty disturbing if you think about it. But oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's things that like, you can buy at Home Depot, when you go to
Yeah,
buy a garden hose. So those hash
right.
makers out there that are listening that are doing, buying their kit, um, just be mindful of what you're buying and where you're buying it from and because
Yeah.
it's typically those hoses are not meant for food. They're meant for a garden. And yeah, I would even argue maybe that's not right for a garden either.
Yeah, right. Right, right. Why do they put those persistent molecules out there? I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe to keep fungus from growing inside of a garden hose or something.
Hey, well, how you
I don't know.
doing?
I always thought garden hose water tasted kind of funny.
Yeah. It's yeah, all those chemicals, again, you know way more than I do here and but in
No,
that
no.
well, we've tested a lot of hoses, I'll tell you that. We've gone through it because we actually we test our water a lot and we've seen some interesting stuff. So it's heavy metals, all kinds of weird stuff happens. You use things that are not meant for the process. But there's plenty of stainless steel hoses out there that are meant for food. You can go buy
Mhm.
them pretty much anywhere. Um,
But when you look at that molecule is going to stick to the hash.
yep.
It's not going to like being in the water. Hash will be a magnet for that molecule. So, yeah, you want to not use garden hoses to make your
Yeah.
water hash. I guess
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yay, everyone. Just
Hey,
one
Kelly, how
little
are you?
smoke. I'm good. Thinking about Sam, thinking
Yeah.
Yeah.
about our beautiful friend and the loss in his family. And, I've been really loving all the stories today. And I just know so many
Did you get
people
a chance to hear Haley and Maya earlier?
I did.
Oh, they're just fantastic. Beautiful. It was just awesome. Just so good.
Yeah.
And Ryan, our guy, did a great job too. And
Right.
Ryan, at times he got super choked up. Todd got super choked up. It was,
Yeah.
very moving.
Yeah.
Wish we were in the room.
Yeah, this is as close as we could get to it, and that just feels really good. And I know there's so many people joining us online, even right now, that are, you know, have either run his strains before or somehow he's touched their lives. Definitely on Hash Church has taught us all so many things. And
We just found out one of our local strains that grows out here in the Kootenays for many years was the mother was a skunk #1.
yeah.
And
really?
it was an outdoor
Mhm.
Kootenai variety, that white grizzly,
Mm-hmm.
that's been, going here forever.
Big ups to Suzanne and Aro. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still holding it. It's really
And
beautiful to see original family holding a strain for, 30 plus years.
it's an outdoor.
Just making it better and better. And we really didn't know. I think I knew a long time ago that it had the skunk #1 in it, but they were listening in on the Hash Church and just really feeling all of that because they felt like they just owed so much of their livelihood and of their expression and of their gardens, to that man and that varietal. It's really, really beautiful to hear the feedback on that.
Yep.
Let's have a
Lots
smoke.
of hash was made out of it, definitely. We had all kinds of different auto flowers were mixed into it, and really earthy berry hash flavors that were like super greasy, kind of traditional hash
Yeah.
ball style.
And it was mixed with a really beautiful Nepalese varietal. We got some super fat seeds from Nepal, and we just call it the Nepali. And a lot of times people thought it was, sort of like from Kauai or something, the Nepali coast, but it was Nepalese and fat seeds, and mixed it up, made it a little bit more greasy. Skunk #1 tended to have a little bit more raised trichomes, a little drier.
There's like a hazy kind
It does have like yeah, it seemed like that there was a skunk varietal, sort of diesel one, and then a real high note terpenoline.
Well, is there a skunk #2?
I
Yeah,
think
there is. Yeah, there's so
Hey.
Sam,
Hey,
we
everyone.
got it from
Yay!
Hey,
Hey, Mojave.
Oh, wow. Hey,
Mojave.
Nice to see
good to
you
see
all.
everybody.
Yay, so nice to see you. We're just over here talking about skunk #1 and having tons of tokes for our friend Skunkman Sam, Dave
Thinking about you
Watson.
guys there holding space for you all. All
And,
those
and it was a beautiful day, you guys. It was absolutely wonderful. So you're all there too.
Can you
Good to
tell
see
us, can you tell us a little bit of a highlight of the day for you, Mojave?
seeing old friends. It's always, these moments of one thing, and it brings groups together, and it's decades sometimes. It's just magical. Yeah, it was really good. And seeing pictures of David as a baby all through the years, just hard to hold back the tears.
Yeah, those pictures really reminded us that he was the real deal.
just going
For
on.
sure. He's got his little girls next to the old Afghan grandfathers, probably up in the hills somewhere in the mountains of Afghanistan or something, and just really lived it. Didn't just wasn't just a part of it, like it was a part of him, and how beautiful. I could watch that whole thing for hours, I think, on repeat, that slideshow.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to do the rounds. You guys can get out here to see
Love
everyone.
you, Mojave.
Hey, I want to introduce. Come over here. Hi. Come in. This is Donna, my wife. She put a lot of this together, so I just wanted to make sure it spread it.
Donna,
Cool.
it's really nice to see you again. Girl, I know what an integral part you are to all of this, and not at all surprising. I knew that you were behind it somewhere because that's just the kind of person that you are, and you just ooze that being around you, and community, and just very in it for everyone else. And I'm just so appreciative to you and not at all surprised that you were heavily involved in it, because that's just who you do and who you are, girl. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for taking such good care of our friend.
The family is happy as best as they can, given the situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so this varietal here has skunk one in it as well. Um, and let me see, there's a couple other, there's another image. So does this. This also has skunk in it. It's the thing I crossed it into, and then I out crossed it out. So, you know, it's in so much. And since things we don't even know it's in, which is fun and interesting because yeah, I don't know if we've documented the genome of it well enough. Maybe that's a job for Kevin and his team at Medicinal Genomics to do in honor of Sam. So we have it documented.
Yeah, I know all that Jack hair too is all skunk number one as well, and definitely my most favorite varietal. And knowing that skunk number one was in there sort of blew my mind, because I didn't know that I ever knew that for some reason, even though we've bred with it for years and years. And it took being on the show here a whole bunch of years ago for Sam to tell me, hi, yeah, skunk number one was in that. So it's pretty awesome.
So I went back and looked at my last correspondence with him. We had corresponded several times since we first started connecting, and Todd talked about being on Skype with him, and I had first Skyped with him back in 2016 and several times over. In fact, he's I think the only person I think I did Skype with when people moved to Teams and Google, whatever. Sam was still on Skype. But our last conversation, so uh he had made a pretty big presence on LinkedIn, you know. I mean, I don't think the LinkedIn community knew who he was, you know, because I think there was still some mystery as to who he was. It was David Watson, but he started commenting on all kinds of threads, and there's a lot of divisive kind of stuff out there, sort of between the cannabis and hemp sides of our industry. And it's just sometimes he would just, completely come down on people and want to, me to kind of have like as a sounding board. He's like, hey, I'm right when I say this, right? Like he would check his facts with me. So being one of David Watson's fact checkers, I can tell you that often his curiosity was just, just like a high school. Like I have college kids. I'm a professor here at a local college, so I can tell you just like when you're in a room and you're teaching people and they're really grasping like the knowledge that you're getting. He was hungry for knowledge, and he knew chemistry probably better than probably some chemists. And right, Colin, how many times did you say on Hash Church about not only potentiating but modulating the effects of cannabinoids? And there was a guy at the eulogy, right, who brought that up. I mean, the guy who fumbled with his glasses, that fella. But um, it was just, again, he had, yeah, schoolboy curiosity, but a sharp mind as any genius, I think, that I've been around. And he was around cannabis so long at so many levels that he just kind of knew everything. So it was kind of like the know-it-all that actually knows it all. But it's funny when it kind of got to the boundary of his knowledge where he kind of knew enough chemistry just to be dangerous. He would always check in with me, you know. I think I was his first go-to as, oh, let me ask Mark. If Mark doesn't know, he'll probably know like where to go to find the answer or something like that, you know. So yeah, so my last conversation, which was just a couple weeks ago with him, he was debating these hemp guys on Delta 8 that there's no Delta 8 synthase, so the plant doesn't make Delta 8. Delta 8 is a degradation product. It's not something that the plant intentionally makes, and any small amount is just adventitiously made either by the sampling or the handling or whatever. It's like it's not made until humans touch the plant. So yeah, he's and so then we exchanged a couple exchanges back and forth, and he's like, "Well, Mark, that's exactly what I told these people. Let's see what they say, you know." And this was like, I don't think these people knew who he was or what he had done, previously, and having arguments with complete strangers on LinkedIn over, cannabinoid biosynthesis is just, one of the things that he took the time to do. He wanted to set the record straight. He wanted to make sure that people understood how things actually happen, which is cool. I mean, it tells you that, he was truly like a professor unto himself, right? He would want to make sure that everything he said was absolutely spot on correct because so many people listen to what he says, and they're like, oh, okay. And I have to be the same way, right? I mean, if I say something chemistry that's just completely bogus or something like that, it'll ruin my credibility and people will be like, oh, Mark doesn't really know what he's talking about. But I try to at least understand the chemistry as best as I possibly can. And I think, David really appreciated that dialogue. It's great to have a chemist on speed dial, when you got to answer chemistry questions anyway.
Well, we're
So
thankful for
yeah,
you.
that was just, and I'll treasure that. I tell you, after Meshulam died, I looked back at our email correspondence. I had emailed Rafi maybe about 4 or 5 times over about 10 years, and nothing but kindness and nothing but here's some references to look at. And I think he appreciated me because he understood that I spoke the same language of chemistry that he did. So he's like, oh, okay, this guy understands. Here, let me point you to these references, or let me, try to help this guy out a little bit. So, Sam was extremely generous with his knowledge, right? I mean, I'm sure that, at a point where, people are getting paid as consultants, he could have done everything, you know? And, you know, we, those of us who make a living in the industry actually do stand on his shoulders because without someone like him, uh, it's kind of like, um, Chuck Berry had to be before the Grateful Dead because like you listen to the Grateful Dead play Johnny Be Good, well, that's a Chuck Berry song. And he stands on the shoulders of Chuck Berry, and it's very similar in chemistry and science, and in cannabis, there's a Dave Watson era that's ended. And so now we are in cannabis 2.0, which is the post David Watson era of cannabis. You could say the same thing, I guess, about Meshulam after Meshulam passed, but these are the legendary folks who have given us this fundamental understanding of what this plant can do and everything that we love about it. And yeah, I mean, his legacy speaks for itself, right, Colin? The trichomes that are behind your head is what, he brought to the world. And how fortunate were we to have him as a panelist for all those weeks on Hash Church, right? Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy. Let's see, what other
But
Samisms can you remember, right?
yeah,
The way he said limonene, he would call it limoline. I always would just crack up the way he would say limoline. But yeah, what are some of the other Samisms? I patented that, right? That kind of got old, right? Whatever was
or send me
cool. Oh,
Bitcoin.
I
I always
patented that.
loved his Bitcoin jokes. He'd be like,
I got a patent on that. Yeah.
Hey, that was also Fred Gardner that was up
Yeah.
there.
We
You're
spent
wondering who was talking about that synthase. That was Fred Gardner from Oceana.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just one last thought about Sam. We spent some incredible hours on this platform. Thank you, Marcus. And thank you for, introducing me to people like Kelly and Josh and Colin and Wade. I wouldn't know you people if it wasn't for Marcus. So thank you for this platform, for introducing this family of mine that I feel very connected with. And certainly when we lose someone in this family, it affects us all because we're never all the same, or we're all certainly blessed to be around him and within his sphere of influence. But I got, just because I've been wondering so much, and tell me if you could tell us, Wade, what was it like meeting Sam? And you met Sam really literally in his, I mean, what was that like? I mean, were you expecting? I know that, so Ryan and I have been in contact, and I've been talking to Ryan during the whole thing, but tell us how that went down. How was it like meeting Sam for the first time? Was that just
Uh,
a thrill?
it's a great question, Mark. It was really extraordinary for me, having known of Sam for many years and having a vague feeling that I knew somebody who knew him back when he was living in Santa Cruz, because of cannabis hookups. Anyway, having known of him for so long, and then having shared time and space with him on Hash Church, left me with this incredible feeling of I feel like I know this man, but I don't. I had never met him in person. And so when he showed up here last week,
Now,
it
were
was
you
stunning.
expecting him, or this was completely you're just sitting there one day and he shows up, or did Ryan reach out and say, "Hey, we're coming up to see you," or?
The second, Ryan Lee made had asked if I was open to a visit. Of course, I said yes. They came up when it worked for him. Diana was had gone into the hospital with the flu, and so they were concerned about that. But no, he came up here with Ryan, and we sat out in the sun. We shared food. We told stories. We laughed a lot. I ended up feeling like he was a brother that I had never known, but somehow our experiences were so similar that we came out the same. Although most of my life experiences were not at all what David did. I mean, I had twin daughters, he had daughters. There were a number of things that we shared in common, but most things we did not share in common. And yet I felt an incredible sense of knowing this man. Anyway, then to hear a few days later from Fred Gardner and then from Etienne that he had died, I was devastated. I felt like here I had, after all these years, finally met this man I had so much respect for. And then for a few hours, my respect and my affection for him was only confirmed. And I felt it more fully than I had before I got the chance to hang out with him. So to hear that he had died, on the one hand, like I said, I was devastated. I felt like I'd just gotten a new best friend and then I lost him. But on the other hand, there was a certain kind of grace for me because I did have a chance to sit with him in person and talk with him and share stories and whatnot. And I sound like a broken record. So many people have said what a wonderful man he is or was, and all the contributions that he's made to the cannabis community. And I will just say that for me, he was an inspiration about giving it away. If you find something special, give it away. Make sure as many people as possible have access to it. And I felt like he and I very much connected on that level of that plane of how to work with the cannabis plant. So I know I sound sad and filled with grief, and both of those things are present in me right now. But like I said, also, I feel a certain amount of grace and beauty that he made time in his life to come and visit with me, even for a few hours. And I felt very blessed by that. And I will hold in my heart the feelings that I had for him. I won't let them go away. Everything from the love that I felt to the grief that I felt at his passing.
Well, that visit was a gift, Wade. That visit was a gift from Sam, and certainly, any one of us would have liked to had that opportunity to be with him.
You made us all, we were all happy when the two of you got together. It just felt like a good thing was happening. It just felt like two people that were really just kindred spirits, like you were saying.
In the sunshine too, like he said.
There you go.
Yeah,
That one photo, I think there was a photo that's been recently shared of both of you together is just wonderful. You do look like brothers. Actually, I see a resemblance there.
He laughed about that too. At one point in his life, evidently, he had a red beard and he had braided it. And I did the same thing. And I asked him if he put beads in it. And he said, no, just braids. And yeah, there we are.
Yep, there it is.
Laughing together. Happy. What a beautiful man. Holy moly. Yeah. That's what it was like. A very sweet and magical, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours sitting in the sun, telling stories and laughing. Thank you for that.
Couple of good old boys.
Couple of good old boys is right. Yeah. Good old fellas, definitely.
Marcus is back. Hey, Marcus.
Yes, I'm back from auditioning with my daughter. I just had to set my son up with his homework. He's crushing his math homework so far. Now he's doing some reading. We're multitasking while my wife is away on a much needed vacation. Those were wonderful words, Wade. I was glad I got to come in and hear them. I'm glad you got to meet Sam. He was definitely a unique man, to say the least. And we got to spend so much time with him on Hash Church. Like, come on. That was amazing how much time we got to spend. What's up, D? Look at that. I just noticed you hiding down in the corner. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you there. Asked to unmute you anyway.
Josh, just can you put on the thing now?
Hey, bro. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. You got your puppy there? Who's that?
This one's called Joe. I named him after Joe Dirt. And we had the fucking mullet of mullets on this guy, man. It was fucking hilarious. You should have. I'll send you some pictures of him later on.
Well, Joe Dirt did have a classic mullet.
He's my new companion. Well, he's not our new companion. He's a couple, 2-3 years old now. But my little Dabs. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Joe for her as a companion. I got her a French bulldog first, but that bulldog turned into a bit of an aggressive animal on Dabs. I'd really put Dabs in a bit of a shell once it got up to a stage, not being able to take care of Biz, right? So I sold her to a little old lady. I got the same money I paid for her, which was quite a bit. And then we got this little Yorkie. And this guy and Dabs are full on 2-3 times a day, zooming up and down the house, happy as hell. She loves it. So It was a good
Nice.
companion, a good choice.
That's
We
awesome.
want about 10 more.
Jeez. My
How
goodness.
do you still have that? What is it, Oreo?
Oreo passed on. Oreo's with Sam now. He'd
Yeah.
probably be
Oh, I bet he is.
shooing Oreo away because he's not a cat, but Oreo
Oh,
is.
Oreo had a way of working his way in. He was an awesome little dog. Tough.
Yeah, he was gangster.
For sure. Just the equivalent, like you said, of a complete jailhouse. Like he was a Skinner or something, and the whole place got on him and stabbed him and beat him and tried to put him down, and he just wouldn't go down,
Dude,
man.
he had like coyotes try to kill him. He had like my neighbor
Coons.
like drove over him with her car. The raccoons like it's the dog was a survivor. I will say
He
that.
was.
But now he's passed on. He did use cannabis at the end of his life as a medicine, so I will say that that was quite profound.
Yeah, that is a good old doggy.
Well, he's welcome to hang out here. We're just celebrating Dave's life here. There's a little party going on over there. They had a nice celebration of life earlier on at the Riggers Winery there on the water in Richmond. That we recorded, 3 or 4 hours of that earlier. So all of a lot of the family and friends that went up to the mic to speak, we got that. We got the slideshow, and it was just really nice. It made me cry on more than a couple occasions. I was just kind of like hit with grief. Every once in a while, grief is so weird. You just think everything's fine, and then someone says something in a certain way, or it's like I'd see a certain smile on his face in a photo, and I'd just be like, just blubbering, sad, sorrowful. Um, yeah, it's a weird thing, this whole death thing and how strangely taboo even really talking about it is, and how it's not really set up in a society to be, I don't know, it's just a weird thing that we don't seem to like. I don't think we've nailed it that well.
There's a lot of different traditions and cultures that celebrate the losses and stuff, and it's just such a hard loss. It's every that's it never gets easier. It just gets a little softer, I guess. But you have your moments, and it's it sucks. The one thing I noticed, and this is one thing that really, my friend gave me this cup, and this is where I store these things. Now, every once in a while, you'll find a dime out of the middle of nowhere. It's at your feet. It's at your hand. It's somewhere that how the fuck did a dime come here? But what this dime thing is, you look it up, you Google it, or you talk to old people, and everybody has a superstition about it. That a dime, when you find a dime, it is someone from the other side saying hello or wanting to talk to you. And look at this, man. Last summer, I don't know, not last summer, summer before, I had a birthday party in my backyard. Bunch of good friends and everything. It's been a long time since we've all been together. And when during that time that we've all been apart from the COVID days and all that stuff, we lost quite a few people, and we celebrated them a little bit too and talked about them. And the next morning when I went outside to clean it up, because I had a video of a bear and both cubs going through my yard because I had some food still left out, there was 3 dimes in a circle, in a triangle, right in the middle of where everybody was sitting. And check out this. These are all the dimes that I find, man. These are all dimes.
You're a dimer.
And I find them in like the last one I found. I got a Sasquatch bar of soap that was in the box, and it was in my stocking. It was in my case, my lunch thing, the work case to go to work and out to camp and everything. And I needed it because I ran out. I grabbed it, I opened the box, dump out the soap, pink, drops out a dime. The weirdest places you find them. Find your dimes. It's someone trying to say hello. And every time I grab one, I'd look at it and I say, I wish whoever you were, I could really have a good conversation with you for 5 minutes right now, even. It'd be great. Thank you. And I put it in my little cup. And it's pretty cool, man. I found them found him on the road where pull over on my motorbike to maybe rip a bowl or smoke a joint or roll one up or take a piss. Boom, there's a dime right there beside my bike when I go to get on it. It's just, they're everywhere. Pay attention.
Nice. That's cool, man. Very cool. I think we had someone new pop in. Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm all right. Thanks.
Where are you at
I
in this
was,
big, beautiful world?
yeah, when I was a kid, I knew him as Jingles, and my aunt Sandra was his sister.
Okay. Jingles. You're going way back, Aaron.
Yeah, my cousin Katie is his niece.
Okay. Did you ever go see him out in Amsterdam or just see him in California?
Just in California.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was quite a full circle for him to head back to California and pass there.
Yeah.
Just spending so many years in Amsterdam. This is wild.
Yeah.
Well, we sure loved him. He was a mentor to me and many others, and I was lucky enough to call him friend for the last 25 years. And it was very, very difficult back then to really just befriend. Like there, Annie told a story earlier about how, he would test people when they first met him, especially for puffing. And he'd kind of be like, he'd just be smoking such strong materials and such high amounts of it that he would test to see if you could hang. And basically it was like, are you going to be fun if we get stoned? Or are you just going to like turn into a blithering idiot and pass out unconscious on my couch? And he was looking for the former, but it was it wasn't many people who could hang when it came to the level of potency that his resin had, and just his whole story of traveling to all the hashish producing countries and collecting the seeds and doing the breeding and creating insane new formats of extraction, solventless extraction, like 35 years before people would know what solventless extraction is. It's really quite incredible. So many conversations with him on our show that we do on Sundays here. So many conversations over 10 years. In fact, 4 hours per Sunday, 2 to 4 hours per Sunday. We definitely did a couple hundred of those shows. And there are a lot of gems that Sam, aka Dave Watson, dropped on us over the years. So we're going to try to compile them, going to try to get them together, get them away from all that other, sheer amount of conversation, and just sort of pull out the Skunkman Sam conversations and make those available in some videos so that people just have access to them. It's what we always wanted. Everyone wanted access to them. And it became a little easier later on, but it was very difficult in the early days. Really, it really was. He was sort of a mythical character in a lot of people's circles, and without, no one really having ever seen him. The majority of people have never seen what he looks like, especially because he just doesn't like to be photographed at all.
I think of him as much younger than, from than he became.
Right.
Was the memorial also recorded?
It was, yes. I can share a link with you if you like.
Yeah.
Problem. So it's just on my YouTube channel, but I'll go find the link and I'll put it in the chat room here, as long as you can access that. So join us. Where are you?
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, Maya and Haley and a bunch of other people speak. So, oh, celebration of life. There it is. I need to change that a little bit. My goodness. Technical difficulties I was having. Oh, 2,300 people have watched that. 2,300 people watched that celebration of life in the last 4
Right.
hours. That's pretty cool. Johnny B. Johnny B. Okay, so
I can see that Mila's and Mila might be online though, so giving you all love over there. In that corner. They don't have on their camera, but you can see their name. Loving y'all.
okay, yeah, I just noticed that as well. I just sort of did that today accidentally, where it was like if you're not on a camera, it just doesn't show up, and I don't know if I like it. But there's no blank screens, at least. Once you turn your camera off, your screen just disappears. It disappears.
On meetings and they're like, no black screens, you get removed, and it's just more for that connection. No,
Did you get that link, Aaron? It's in this Zoom chat. Put it over there. It's the
Yeah, I got
YouTube.
that. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
That's great. And thank you for doing this. I'll go and,
Here we are.
and take a look.
Absolutely.
I had a cool fractal with Skunkman about when the Kush hemp was coming out and people were starting to isolate like sour diesel hemp and other different varieties. Bubba Kush, I think, was
Yeah,
the other
Bubba
one.
Kush,
Yeah.
Yep.
And how they did that. And I was like, what was the deal with that? And then he was just talking about taking a clone, feminizing it, growing out like a whole field of that feminized clone, and then testing every single plant. And then finding the one plant out in the field that has CBD in it, and then going through 3 or 4 generations of rebreeding that in a regular breeding situation. Or no, I think it was a couple more years of selfing and then regular breeding after that.
But it was so funny the way that he put it. He was like, oh, it's easy. You just do this, and then you get like 20,000 plants, and then you test all of them. And then you find the one that's the highest in CBD and the lowest in THC, and then you go from there. I was like, yeah.
And then it'll have the same
Sounds
terpene profile because of
super
the
easy.
feminized for the first few years, keeping the terpene profile there.
It's like one in the field isn't going to be psychoactive. Find it.
Do you even grow plants? Okay.
Hey,
Darren,
guys.
if you don't mind, could you please
I'm
say the
gonna bail.
sentence? No,
Can
you can't bail. We're doing bong rips, dude. What are you
we're
talking
doing bong
about?
rips? Okay.
Dude, one more bong rip. Darren's
One more
gonna
bong
say
rip.
the words. He's gonna be
What's
like,
that?
he's muted. He doesn't realize he's muted.
There we go.
There you go,
Okay.
dude.
I'm still
Please.
figuring this out, it seems.
You got
Long rip, mother lovers. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm
I'm doing it. Oh, let's
I'm
just get
gonna
that.
mute myself again so I don't torch out everybody with my torch. But how do I do it? Again? Yeah, okay.
ups down.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. From that one. It was really good.
All right, I'm out. Good night, guys.
Have a good one, Dr. Mark.
Yep. Rest in peace, David Watson.
Good night,
Absolutely.
Mark. We love you, brother.
Yep. Love you too.
All right. Love you
Take
so
care,
much.
guys.
Take care.
Oh my goodness. Capper Dabber. Who's Capper Dabber? They're not, their video's not on either. Anyone that's in here that doesn't have their video on, feel free to say hello. We'd love to say hello to you.
Ease just jumped in.
Is it Ease or is it Ezekiel?
Ezekiel.
We'll see. There's no microphone, just a camera.
What's up, Easy?
You going to Whistler this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. Because I must feed my soul.
Saturday or Sunday?
Well, considering I do hash church for 4 hours on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Whistler's kind of a like closed at 3:30 kind of thing, and I'm an hour away. Saturday for sure. Always Saturday.
See you there Saturday.
Yeah, I'm always there Saturdays. I'll be on the mountain though. There's a lot of snow that has fallen, so that is the excitement. Big storms have come through and
Just
dropped
have enough.
much. What's that?
Yeah, we just have enough snow on the property now. It's been such like this light snow. It's been a light amount of snow in this elevation. It's been a good amount above. So, but in order for us to powder surf our property,
That's nice.
we have the snow. I really want to take the snow.
Today
skate on the
it
mountain.
happened with the 2-year-old and her having her helmet
She really
on.
wants to go down, so I just have to hold her.
That's awesome.
And
Down on
go
the
down
snow
on the
stick.
board.
And then she gets addicted after the first 20 times and wants to just keep going and going and going. So
I know her pain. I know it well.
You understand.
You know.
You understand.
I understand, man. I was a snowboarder born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where we don't even have hills or anything. It's just a godforsaken, flat, barren place of existence that I grew up in, which is why there's nowhere I can't be comfortable. Thanks to being raised in Winnipeg, I can go wherever. People are like, oh, it's a hardcore city. You shouldn't go there. I'm like, really? I didn't feel that. I did not feel that. Oh, you shouldn't go there. That's dangerous.
You'll forever
probably not.
have that love for the mountains, no matter how long you live in them, because there's that excitement of just seeing them every single time and going into them every time you go to Whistler. You know, it's spectacular.
Dude, it's
You don't
unbelievably
grow
amazing.
up there, you still have that remembering of like discovering it and finding it and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, the mountains are always majestic. Just has this like beautiful feeling to it.
Oh,
Do you still go use your snowmobile?
I haven't in a while, but I definitely still do. I'll pull it out this winter for sure. I might not get out on it like 20 or 30 times, but I should get out on it like at least hopefully 2, 3, 4 times.
Debbie's coming in.
Our son Sky's
I see
super into the snowmobile.
Hey, Marcus.
Yes.
Funny.
Hello.
Hi, Mark. It's Diana.
Hey, Diana. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing very good. We're live this time.
Yeah. I just want to say it was a beautiful day, and there was so much fun, and it's fun. Yeah. Hey, my fingers.
Thanks for sharing with us, Diana.
Okay, I've got a lot left here.
Wonderful.
Love
Give
you,
everyone a
Mark.
hug. Love you too, Diana. We'll see you in Amsterdam soon,
Love
I'm
you.
sure.
Can't wait.
It was nice. Nice to see Diana. Overwhelming, crazy day, you know? Jeez. My goodness, I can't imagine. My wife and I have been together, I want to say 36 years. It might be 37, I think it's 36. It's a long time. She's got like 20 years on that, which is incredible.
Kelly and I are at 32.
Yeah, I can't even imagine 54.
32.
I
And I
can't.
think about being together for, we might be able to hit 54 and 60 or something, you know, based off this,
Yeah,
which would be really amazing. You
That's
know?
pretty
totally.
unbelievable. That's a long time together, and to see those photos. This is such a rich history and told so much, not just even about their family, but just all of it, an era and a time period, and
That's true.
so amazing.
And 35 countries.
Is that what it was?
Really?
Well, I don't know the exact number, but I guarantee you, like, those beaches weren't all in the same I definitely saw Goa. I mean, there was a lot of pictures.
Bali and Goa and Afghanistan.
Oh yeah.
Places in India. It was with their children. Like,
Yeah,
what a rich, beautiful, amazing life.
absolutely. It's pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. The photos was worth waiting for. It was another funny thing, right? I think we waited 30 or 40 minutes for that photo slideshow to happen, but when it happened, it was I'll probably get my YouTube channel struck because I was just playing like popular reggae music in the background because there was no no sound. I was just like, I'm gonna just play songs that Dave would love. I don't even care. I'm just like, hopefully, they don't strike me too hard. Worst case scenario, I can go back in the video and I can remove the music and we'll still be able to keep the video up. But I at least have the original recording of the reggae music playing while Dave's photos went by of him and his family and friends. Those were awesome photos. I saw my own kids in those photos.
Hi, Debbie. Welcome.
Yeah, Debbie.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone, even despite the sad circumstances.
Yes, it's nice to see you, Debbie.
Really nice to see you, Debbie.
Hi, Colin. Been a minute, that's for sure.
Yeah,
You got Budzilla behind you there in the background.
She's wanna put some Dave Watson in there. David's, But yeah, no, it's
How you
been-
doing, buddy? Good to see you. And I hope you're having fun this winter. And we've seen you here and there. So nice work. Good job.
Okay. There you go.
Nice one. Nice one. Good times.
Yes.
I guess times keep going. So here we go with our families and everyone's growing up and it's life is rich in that way, and I guess I'm just continuously reminded about the richness of having friends of all ages and being around more people of elders and more youth. And I mean, it just continuously just reminds you, brings in the right kind of teachings. And I think it propels our spirit in a way that's it's healing because it's like rites of passage. You go through things, you go through death and life. It's hard to deal with death sometimes because we don't have the tools in this society as much. We spent a lot of time in Bali. It's amazing watching like a Balinese ceremony having to do with the funerals and the way that people be honored there and stuff. And it's spectacular. But I think, we do have a lot of heart and soul in our community and we do find ways to make it magical. And this has been magical. So, it's a rite of passage and it's, a moment to reflect and move forward and continue the teachings.
Always magical. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just spelling with my son right now. So if anyone else wants to pick up the talking, we've just got about 20 more words to go through here.
Words. Nice.
We got you, man.
Yeah.
I think David's teachings, I think, you know, the other thing that what I heard Rob also talk about is like there's always a business plan to be made in the name of the plant. And it's like everything that he did was so, it just was like so elevated in ways that it almost was so unbelievable that we're still attempting to do these things today. And it's just insane. If you look at the work, there's whole companies that have based their careers around the things that he's already accomplished. And it's really fascinating to me that Horde Farm was so early that we're still catching up. You know, it's really fascinating. It's almost like an artist that has a studio full of things that no one's seen before. You know, and we're just like pulling them out. And we're like, oh my gosh, have you seen this? You know, so it's I think there's more to come there, I bet. You know, I'm sure there's some works that we don't know about. You know, so I think that it's really fascinating to me. You know, he's like the first, you know, and certainly someone that was super gracious about it and never took it in vain. I think that's one thing that I noticed about him is that there's a lot of things that him and Rob did that were just super heady, you know, that they, you know, really took it to a level that was brought people together outside the subject matter in ways that I think was really creative to push it forward in the sake of the plant. And you know, the breeding work's one thing, but also that other work is tied together is really just this interesting piece of a journey that was almost like predetermined. You know, we see all these countries that he visited. It's almost like this linear thread, like he was like this thread that was just like rolling through life, collecting all this stuff so he could arrive at that place to utilize that journey and have an effect, a cause and effect with it. Which I think the more I look at his work and read about it as in the coming weeks, yeah, there's just a lot there that is from a, you know, just a life perspective, you know, really, really broad and really profound. So there's a lot in terms of the genomics aspect of what he did. It's like, you know, his genetic work, I mean, is it's quite frankly unbelievable, you know, and I think that's the kind of most amazing part about it because it's so majestic and so yeah, it's just it's very deep in the way that he was able to bring it over to Europe, continue the work there, and share it and allow people like Neville to then, you know, turn around on him. And, you know, it's a game, right? So he played it and he played it well. And I love him for that.
Be cool, really cool to get some stickers made that says, "Thanks, Sam, for your strain."
Yeah.
Because it's probably not a whole lot of strains out there that people are working with that don't have his origins in it somewhere. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, one thing Sam showed us is life is a journey. It's to go live it, enjoy it. And he showed us that. He enjoyed it, did exactly what he loved to do. And with that, he left a legacy and he helped millions of people by leaving seeds, planting seeds everywhere, seeds in every one of us. Everybody here, everybody got a seed. Everybody's being planted a seed of Sam's amazingness as I just sit here and smell this jar, and I was just like took me into that just smell of just like that first skunk that I smoked when I was in young lad and getting that and stuck to the wall. Yeah. Planted a seed in my soul. It'll last forever. Cheers. Bong rip, guys.
Oh yeah, Johnny B. I'm gonna pass on the bong rip because I'm teaching my young one how to spell here, and I think it would be inappropriate. But we're both still celebrating Sam, right, Tanner?
Yeah.
Quiet room.
Well,
A
was to try
visit.
to smoke as much as we used to in the very beginning of Hash Church.
Jesus.
I'd probably crawl under my desk and want to die or probably quit altogether because it freaked me out so much. Like it just, you know, every once in a while I'll get just a little bit or even way higher than I want to be. You know, because I work 12, 14 hours a day. I don't smoke at work because I'm running lots of heavy equipment and stuff. And it ain't like the old days where the more weed you got and doobies you smoke, the better operator you are. It's like those old guys are crazy. And you don't smoke for that long a period of time a day. And then you go back to your camp room or you got an apartment in another town in the middle of nowhere and you do a nice bong rip or you don't dare do two before dinner because two is too much. Like a literal gram of rosin will last me, when I'm working, it'll last me 5, 6 days.
Yeah, let
Easy,
me
no
show you
problem.
this one.
I did not spell
It's
it
not
right, did
longer.
No, you spelt it right. You just didn't realize what it was. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize my mic was hot. I had a hot mic there. I had a hot mic moment. Apologies, old boy. Continue on, would you?
Oh yeah. The last time I literally did two tokes and it was a little bit hot, I think, and I coughed a lot. Then the room was spinning a bit and I was kind of laughing to myself, thinking, geez, man, you're that high off of two bong rips. Then I'm looking over to where my room was. It's like 8 steps away to my bed. And I'm like, okay, let's just get to the bed. I get to the bed and I get down on the bed. I close my eyes and the little hallucinations in my brain were just like incredible. Light show and kaleidoscope of faces and everything else. And I just kind of almost for a second got into my head like, geez, was there something in that rosin or something? You know, I started tensing out a little bit. I just started laughing. I got up, I just sat up, I just started laughing. I was like, man, you're fucked. You fucking know there ain't nothing in there. You're just too high. Enjoy it, close your eyes and write it out. So I closed my eyes and had a rest of a good buzz and a good sleep for 2 or 3 hours. Got up, munched out, went back to bed.
Well, I've always called that on the brink. And I grew up with a dear friend of mine, Kelly Castle, and we used to always try to get to the brink. We'd be like, like once we were that high, it was like, how you doing over there, man? It's like, oh, I'm on the brink, man, like teetering on the edge of the brink of how high one can comfortably be. And when I met Sam, I realized that Sam spends more time on the brink than any other human being that has ever lived, like in the most insane way. Like just at home on on a sunny afternoon, just like ripping like 50, 60, 70 bong rips. I'm not even exaggerating.
Oh
He was so
Yeah,
no.
that
extreme.
I was thinking the same thing, and he was like, I remember when we were talking about THCP on Hash Shirts, like the next week, he's like, I got isolate coming me. You know what I mean? He was like the
Yeah.
first one, like he was like trying to find it and get it in his hands because he just wants to be on, like you said, he wants to be all the way there. And that's him. That's
How
awesome.
did he like the isolate?
I mean, I remember he was just like saying how good it, I mean, he would just like sprinkle a little bit on there. And yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
what
him.
didn't he say it was like 20 times stronger or something? Like,
Yeah, he said it was like super strong. He's like, I wouldn't recommend it, but it was like, I don't know. I can't, there's an episode with it and him talking about it somewhere back there. Um, but yeah, I just remember distinctly him talking about that. But that's, and then his exploration of just how many different ways, like isolates, and he was just really open to different things, and therapeutic ways that the plant could treat you, which I appreciated.
hey, Debbie, you were at one of the first Legends of Hash dinners. What do you have memory
Yeah, I
wise
was
of
gonna
that?
chime in. Thank you. And I'll have to go after I just sit here in a minute because I'm at the dispensary I work at now and we're closing in a minute. But I met him and Michael Rich. If you got anybody new, Michael Rich, his business partner at Horta Farm, way back in the 90s, late 90s, 97. I met them over at their spot there in Amsterdam. And they just blew my mind because they were the very first people that were really doing cannabis business where I could be like, they had shampoo, were in multiple business channels, and at the same time, just smoking mad amounts of weed and just being so irreverent. But I remember when I met them, him and Michael, I was like, what is going on? Because they had just been hired by Bill Clinton to go over to train Jocelyn Elders, what was she? The medical, what do they call that? Medical, like not the attorney general, but the medical whatever. Do you guys remember Jocelyn Elders? ATN, help me out. Jocelyn
I
Elders.
remember her. I
Yeah,
remember her. I
she was
can't remember what
Clinton's,
her.
what do they call that thing? The chief medical director of the US or whatever they call it. Yeah, so somehow they knew Clinton, and they had told me because they met him when they were old smugglers back in Arkansas, and they had a free Passover in Arkansas, so that's how they hooked up with the governor. And then when he was president, President Clinton had flown him in to train his staff on cannabis issues. So I was like, what on earth? These guys are just so next level for me. I was just a kid in 97. So yeah, I was blown away. So I've known those guys for a Michael passed away like 5 years ago, something like that by now. So my thought is they're both back together and they're just concocting some of the biggest stuff we could ever imagine, up in the sky. But yeah, I was definitely at a lot of those hash dinners. I can't even remember the first one or the second one or which ones I was there, but I was at a lot of them. Special person, that's for sure. Completely gonzo. That's the thing I like about him. No holding him back, complete gonzo, doing what he wants, doing it with class. Total great guy.
Next level for sure. We met the next year. I met you in 98. You were here like
Funny.
one door over from where I live now.
Oh my God, that's so long time ago.
I know, and I'm pretty sure you were with Amber.
I can't even remember who I was with that. No, it was with Linda J, this other woman, Linda J, who's a cannabis nurse.
Okay, okay.
Linda J
Yeah,
with
that was
big
a long time ago.
dreadlocks and yeah, that's old school right there. She's still around too. She's working at CBCB in Berkeley.
Very
One
cool.
dispensaries there. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping in, sharing
Yeah.
stories
I don't
with
want to
us.
miss it. All right, but I gotta go. So it's great to see you guys, and hopefully I can catch up at Hash Church one of these days. So thanks for doing this.
Anytime. Anytime. Yeah, you're always welcome. Just let me know. Sometimes I create new email chains and I forget people on it, but anyone that wants to be on can always just hit me up in the morning and
So nice.
I can send off the link.
All right, bye everyone.
See you later, Debbie. See you later. Well, I really have to go do a workout here soon. It is late. It's my last responsibility. It's getting a little workout done.
Well, I log every night and I plan my next day and do the same thing and just a different way I work out in the morning. Nighttime routine now. Dim the lights. Relax.
Well, I'm gonna go myself as well. Thanks for the invite, the link. Good to see everybody.
Dude,
Sad to see everybody for circumstances, but rest in peace, Sam. We smoke for you. Always will.
Yeah.
Guys, have a good night. Good seeing you all.
Take it easy, Darren.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to join the herd that's heading out. I'm pretty exhausted. I will say that I am very much looking forward to more conversation about David Watson and his work. And to me, what he represents is what's possible in each of us. We just have to be brave enough to go for it. That's my take on it. I love y'all. See you Sunday morning.
Much love, Wade.
Love Wade. Big love, Wade. Love you, brother.
A good evening. I think
And his
here comes Etienne.
wonderful aspect of his nature and his irreverence, which is one of my favorite parts, but his genius. And we first, I first came to know of him when Rob Clark came to our garden. It was more of a competitive nature. And Rob came to our garden, and we were my husband, Mike Corral, and myself.
Oh, that was our only source of hearing what Val was saying. If you can turn your mic back on, that was how we were hearing it. Oh, we lost it. Oh, we got it back. We got it back. Oh, we lost it. Oh my goodness. Life is a trip. Life is a trip. I would like to hear what Val is saying, but we cannot hear what Val is saying. We need Milios to unmute her mic. And then we could hear.
Like unmute your mic.
All right, well, I am gonna call it an evening. I'm gonna, unless you feel like hanging out, Colin, I'm gonna shut her down.
I just text Ryan to see if he could ask ATN. I said, can you ask ATN to unmute his mic? There he goes.
His mic is terrible though.
So thank you, everybody. For everybody here, I'm actually drinking a Coke in his honor. We have a Mexican Coke, and so we got 150 of these. So we're toasting David, each in our own way. So thank you. Thank you all. We appreciate it. Thank you to Ryan Lee, my wife, Donna. We were able to pull it off. And the family's happy. And that's all we can ask for. Everything else is gravy. So to David.
Thanks, brother. Cheers to that. We appreciate you guys. I'm gonna shut her down now, and we'll see you guys all on Sunday when we gather for church. Peace out, everybody. Have a good evening.